Hello everyone, my name is Romanel Hernandez and I'm here today with Megan Panikar and Alexander Martin to do our presentation titled Litigation and Nursing, Developing Ethical Curricula. Not all nursing programs are created equal, and unfortunately there are nursing educational institutions that have many flaws such as false advertisement, unfair testing policies, discrimination, and a lack of disability accommodations. In this presentation, we'll be discussing what these flaws mean for our students and also ways to avoid potential legal liability and litigation by creating administrative policies and curricula that are fair and ethical. I will now pass it on to my colleague Megan, who will discuss false advertisement and unfair testing policies.
Thank you, Roma. The Federal Trade Commission defines false advertisement as any promise, statement, or communication that falsely misleads prospective students by making them believe or aspire to something that is simply false or unachievable as advertised. This could be intentional or unintentional and can include the type of degree offered, employment opportunities available for graduates, financial compensation through employment, the accreditation or research status of the institution, as well as opportunities for professional growth. An example of false advertisement could be course prices. Many potential students view course prices and tuition online. When these prices are not up to date or do not include all fees until courses are purchased, this can be considered false advertising. Furthermore, testimonies from whistleblowing recruiters, former faculty members, and former students have resulted in hundreds of lawsuits regarding the quality of education offered, the validity of the degrees bestowed, and the ethics of associated costs. For example, recruiters from Ashford University in California falsely advertised misrepresentation of program costs, financial aid, pace of degree, transferability of credits, and eligibility for nursing career. The problem with certain for-profit institutions is that they claim to be reputable organizations that are certified and accredited, but in reality they are not, and when brought to court, they close the school, leaving students stranded, degreeless, and in debt. This unfortunately occurred in a California school called RN Learning Center, where it advertised itself as a fast-track BSN program, creating the illusion it was training future registered nurses. As many as 300 students paid $20,000 and had their aspirations and tuition dollars wasted when the school was forced to close. No student was able to use their degree to qualify to take the NCLEX or to become a nurse. As recent as this year in 2024, the federal government has even forgiven student loan debt to students at many institutions, including Ashford University, due to their predatory and deceitful nature, where they took advantage of students looking to get a nursing degree. Another potential litigation issue for nursing schools is unfair testing policies, which are those that are unclear, biased, unethical, or discriminatory, and that might open the faculty or the institution up for litigation and legal liability. Through these unfair testing policies, student performance may be negatively affected, which would misrepresent their actual standing. Unfair testing policies and practices are unfortunately occurring in many nursing programs around the United States. One such practice is where students are complaining that administrators have suddenly added new requirements that they pass comprehensive tests before they can graduate. Some students believe the schools add these new test requirements mid-course to weed out students who may be in danger of failing the NCLEX. Only graduates can take the exam, and schools that have low passage rates from their students taking the NCLEX risk losing their license to operate. This occurred at Chamberlain College of Nursing in 2016. Mere weeks away from graduation, students learned about a comprehensive exam that they were required to take, and if they failed this test, they had to retake the entire program all over again. The new requirement came after the Texas State Board of Nursing barred Chamberlain from enrolling new students because of low passage rates on the NCLEX. Another unfair testing policy occurred at the University of Massachusetts Lowell when the pass-fail score threshold was changed from 75 to 80% mid-semester, which meant students who were previously passing the course were at risk of failing. Nursing students claimed the program did this because their NCLEX passing rate had been terrible in recent semesters. Another unfair testing policy that some institutions might be enforcing is students being unable to take a test at a date other than the scheduled date due to personal emergency, sickness, or any other justified reason. A study found that there was no statistically significant difference in test scores from students who were allowed to take the makeup test at a later date. So how do we avoid these potential litigation issues? Following a competency-based curriculum can make it easier to provide clear and measurable performance criteria and outcomes in which learners are evaluated on their mastery of the competencies. We can first look to the national accreditation bodies such as the CCNE, ACEN, and NLN-CNEA. For example, the AACN has developed a set of essentials that promote competency-based curricula. These guidelines can help to mitigate the chance of litigation by adhering to national standards that are evidence-based and promote objectivity in evaluation and consistency in graduate outcomes. A well-designed and evidence-based curriculum is an institution's best defense against litigation. Additionally, having clear, straightforward, and transparent testing and evaluation policies that are easily accessible to students is another layer of defense for nurse educators. As nurse faculty, we can participate in curriculum and program revision committees that aim to improve fairness and transparency in our nursing program. Additionally, nursing programs should provide clear and accurate depictions of program costs, evaluation policies, enrollment requirements, minimum pass-fail scores, the nursing student handbook, accreditation status, and NCLEX pass rates that can be easily found on the school's website. Each course description and course syllabus should include the enrollment requirements, minimum pass-fail scores, and the cost for the course. Additionally, another measure is to make sure expectations are clearly known on day one by having educators go over syllabi to address any and all questions at the beginning, which may help to prevent issues down the road. Regarding missed examinations, a clear policy can be developed by administration to determine which reasons for being absent during a previously scheduled exam are reasonable and justifiable, such as medical or family emergencies. This will help students who have a justified absence have a fair chance, but also will make sure students are not abusing the makeup testing policy. When students challenge policies, it is important to address their concerns openly and respectfully. Talking through situations may help to prevent disagreements from potentially reaching litigation. Faculty should also be encouraged to seek support from administration and escalate situations for guidance. Now my colleague Alex will discuss how to avoid discrimination and lack of disability accommodation in nursing programs.
Thank you, Megan. Discrimination is defined as the unfair treatment of individuals based on characteristics protected by the law. Some of these protected characteristics include sexual orientation, age, disability, gender, national origin, race, and religion. The laws that protect against these discriminations include Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972, which prohibits sex discrimination. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which prohibits disability discrimination. Title II of the Americans with Disability Act of 1990, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability for federally funded public entities. Lastly, Age Discrimination Act of 1975, which prohibits age discrimination. An example of a discrimination case occurred at St. Elizabeth School of Nursing, where an African-American student claimed she was subject to racial discrimination. She reported multiple instructors and faculty members who provided unfair treatment towards her and other Black students, singled her out during clinical rotations, and pressured her to withdraw from the program. Backed by the NAACP, she brought this litigation to court. Although she was not able to provide enough evidence to prove her claim, it was a critical point for nurse faculty to develop policies to help avoid legal situations like these. These policies should be clear and fair across the board so students are given equal chances at being successful regardless of their racial or ethnic background, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, or nationality. As previously discussed, institutions who receive federal funding are obligated to not discriminate against students who have disabilities. Furthermore, Title IX, which is often understood to protect against sex discrimination, also provides students the opportunity to be evaluated for accommodations related to disability. These disabilities are further protected from being publicized by the Family Education Right and Privacy Act, which functions similarly to healthcare confidentiality laws like HIPAA. When we think about disability accommodation, the idea isn't necessarily that the student is subject to automatically pass or to make the material easier. Instead, the focus is on providing the student the opportunities to succeed relative to their peers. Failure to comply with disability accommodation laws or providing resources to our students can result in litigation issues. Inadequate disability accommodation can be due to educator bias, educators not being aware of their role in the accommodation process, or a lack of resources in an established disability program to help guide and support students and educators alike. For example, in the Wells versus Lester E. Cox Medical Center's case, the Missouri Appeals Court found that the nursing school erred in dismissing a deaf nursing student because she needed accommodation in clinical practice. This, under Title IX, is simply not acceptable. So how do we avoid these potential legal issues? The National League for Nursing gives us some insight on this. The NLN charges nurse educators with facilitating learning for our students. Nurse educators must act as role models of professional nursing. In doing so, we can be sure to be open-minded and accepting of the diversity that makes nursing a great profession. We can start by educating the educator. The institution can provide diversity workshops where nursing faculty can stay up to date with societal trends, be aware of their own biases, and avoid discrimination. Additionally, there should be a workshop focused on training faculty on how to accommodate student disabilities and connect them to the right resources. Educators should also practice universal design in their classroom to make it easier for learners with and without disabilities to learn. This entails having course materials available in audio and video format, designing uncluttered web pages, providing accessible JavaScript, and providing access to web pages that can be converted to text to audio and vice versa. We need to be aware of the resources available to our students as well, such as the Disability Resource Center. And we need to be mindful and respectful of their accommodation needs. Educators should seek further guidance from the DRC and administration on how to best educate and accommodate the student in light of their disclosed need. Examples of accommodation can be as simple as providing a note taker for a student, or providing extra time for test taking or curriculum learning. It may involve providing additional study aids or providing closed caption for videos. Next, I will let my colleague Roma close with final thoughts.
Thank you, Alex. In summary, as professional educators who are helping shape the future of nursing in America, we need to have an ethical and moral code to guide us in our professional careers. With these principles, we can make sure we push for nursing curricula that are free from bias, discrimination, or misrepresentation of students so that all nursing students have a fair shot at becoming professionals. Following national accreditation standards, we can develop competency-based programs that have objective and measurable criteria, fair testing policies, and that are free from false advertising. Moreover, we can attend faculty development workshops and familiarize ourselves with the tools and resources available to us and our students so we could better facilitate learning and provide assistance where needed. Being open-minded and accepting of diversity and the different disabilities will help faculty meet challenges in a caring, emphatic manner that helps students succeed by providing them with the right tools and appropriate help to do so. Lastly, by having clear and objective expectations, rules, and regulations, we can avoid costly and time-consuming litigations so that we can focus all our efforts on providing high-quality education. And that concludes our presentation. Here's a list of our references, and thank you for watching.